Welcome everyone to INACSL 23, where we're going to continue our conversations with the members of INACSL that are in service positions. Today, at this presentation, we're going to be talking with people about the ISEP program. That's the INACSL Simulation Education Program. And I have with me Cheryl Smith, Amanda Wilford, and Andrea Wilk. So we're going to have this conversation, and we're just going to talk about the program, and so we have a kind of an understanding. My name's Teresa Gore. I am with HealthySimulation.com, and I'm also a past president of INACSL. So I'm really enthusiastic about this organization. So I would like to. The first question: can someone tell me about how ISEP started? And where we can, kind of how this grew. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm
So
really
we go.
okay.
Yes.
I'll start. So ISEP came out of an awful lot of work. So INACSL recognised that there are a lot of wonderful people who want to become simulation facilitators, from academia, from practice, really across health and social care. So over a number of years, they've done a lot of different types of programs, and ISEP is the sort of culmination of that. And what's really wonderful is it's a way that it's essentially a 6-month program where learners from all walks of life, all across the world, it's an online program, and actually over 6 months learn how to be simulation facilitators and at the same time embed those amazing INACSL standards of best practice, supported by people like myself and a colleague here who are facilitators who come from different areas. So that's really where it came from. It's about supporting people to really embed best practices.
So I do want to give a little shout out here for Amanda. We worked together on the first INACSL CAE Healthcare Fellowship Program, and that was an in-person program, and we wanted to reach more people, and so ISEP grew from that. And so a lot of this work, like we said, has come from a lot of tried and true practices and inclusion in the criteria. So, what are some of the modules that are covered as you go through this process?
Sure. So I'm actually one of the newer facilitators, so I would like to put a plug out there for as many folks that are interested to become facilitators. But as far as the modules, it really just works you through the simulation design process, and you get a good overview of each of the healthcare simulation standards of best practice. So what we do as facilitators is each individual module will typically have a reflective journal on the topic, whether that's pre-briefing, facilitation, sim design. We will review that, we'll talk with you about it, and then incrementally throughout the 6 months, you will work on different portions or sections of a specific scenario, and you get us to look it over, see how it's going, point out any areas that might have some difficulty when you go to implement the scenario. So by the end of the 6 months, you have a scenario that is developed that's based on those evidence-based standards and should be ready to pilot and implement at your facility.
I also just want to add, for each of the modules, all of the students enrolled on the program have discussion groups. So part of the program is that there's set pieces of work and really great readings, great models from real pioneers in Teresa, Kim Layton, Susie Edron. But also the learners are encouraged to share their ideas with their peers. So the students are learning with each other. So it's a true community of practice. And what I found really lovely is we see the designs at the beginning when they're very new. Then as they begin to really consolidate their learning, those designs just grow. And sort of by the end of it, I'm thinking, I want to run those designs in my own simulation area. So it's a real community of practice. It's all about networking and really sharing. And they really have to bring their ideas. And we learn, I personally say I would learn as more from being a facilitator. It's really improved my practice too, just by being part of this amazing program.
And I view it as at the end of the 6 months, my mentorship continues. So I've had several of the students or the learners reach back out afterwards because I want to know how it went when they actually put it into practice at their facility. So it doesn't stop at the end of the 6 months.
I'm a very recent student. I began the program in March of 22 and finished in August of 22. So I worked well with the
Yay!
facilitators, and You know, it was a whole new world for me. I hadn't worked in simulation prior, I just observed. So having this class really was something I needed to know how to be the best provider for our program. And you do learn a lot. I mean, it's like 2 modules a month, I think, average. And you do have the other cohorts that you're in that you can talk to, and they give you lots and lots of, what do you call it, templates and different things to work with. And they're always there when you have a blank, because if you've never done it before, you have lots of blanks, and it takes lots of learning. But it was a very worthwhile endeavor. It took time and it took work, but I learned a lot when I finished in August.
Wonderful. So, what did it take to become a facilitator? You said you just became a facilitator, so can you talk to us about
yes,
that?
I'm fairly new. It was really just making connections. I had a fellow simulation volunteer that I worked with on a different project, and she said, hey, have you thought about becoming a facilitator for the ISEP program? And I just completed my application that included the CV and a little bit about some of the scholarship and other things that I had done in my simulation career. And that was really it. They just wanted to know, it is a volunteer position, so they just wanted to know, do you have the educational background and have some experience under your belt? But most importantly, are you willing to be a mentor and to help bring up the next generation of simulationists?
And for me, I sort of had a similar journey, but also as a simulation teacher myself, I've really used those INACSL standards all the way through, not just the 21 iteration, but going back, because they do get updated. So I also wanted to give something back to the community, because INACSL have really helped me through their website, through being a member. So when they were calling for volunteers, and also I'm based in the UK, I'm really passionate about waving, I is for international. So I'm going to call out, we do need more international facilitators, because we're a very small group on the international side. But also what's been really exciting is the groups that we facilitate are from all over the world. So, if you are interested in keeping yourself up to date and giving something back, and also it really helps you in your practice, then really consider it. And I'm going to say, please, we need more international facilitators.
And your professional development, for the cost and for what you got exposed to in your growth, tell us about it from that experience too.
The time that you would put into going to several different programs, travel, webinars, participating, I think it's very cost effective. It's all in one location. You have the same facilitator, so it's not like you have a different instructor every month and they don't know where you were at from before. They follow through with you. So I think it's a wonderful way to get a very broad overview of what you're going to be doing as a simulation professional.
So for anyone out there that'll be watching this or here live with us, what piece of advice do you give someone about if they're considering the ISEP program or they're wanting further professional development?
I think it would just be to keep an open mind. We have learners in the program at a variety of different levels of expertise. Folks who've never done simulation before and never heard of the standards, all the way up to sim center directors that are going through the program. So I would just say, think about it as yes, me. I would be an applicant, because all of the applicants for the program come from a variety of backgrounds. So I don't think you should just discount yourself and your experience.
I would also add that in your own professional development, you have to do CPD. So certainly for us, it's very reflective practice. So you could link doing the ISEP actually as part of your CPD. For us, our re-registration as a nurse in the UK. But also I think as well, it really makes you think about benchmarking your practice, and it might make you think about that you want to go off and do the INACSL endorsements, or there are other simulation societies and other programs that you might want to use this as a foundation, or even for just training your own faculty that we're actually doing the right thing for our learners, but also for our patients or our clients, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing this for. So I think there's lots of different reasons for doing it.
Okay. So you said it's a 6-month program.
Mm-hmm.
Do you start it every month, or do you start it a couple of times a year? I think
I believe it's several times throughout the year,
Yeah.
and it's about every 2-3 months a new cohort
Yeah.
starts.
So if you're thinking about this, just remember that you can work this around if you know that you've got a really full couple of months coming up, I wouldn't advise you to start this, but we all have ebbs and flows in what we do, and that's the important thing. I do want to thank all of our panelists, and I really think that we all need professional development, and we don't need to keep recreating the wheel and learning on the fly. There are too many programs and resources out there now, and I think that this is a great representation of the group. We've got international, and we have more, people. Do you have to be a nurse? One last question. Do you have to be a nurse to do this program?
No. No, we have folks from all different healthcare backgrounds, and I think that's the beauty of the program. It's not prescriptive. So you had mentioned multiple templates. There are lots of ideas and lots of different ways to accomplish a good scenario or a good simulation. And so it's not super prescriptive to any one method or style. And so, as you mentioned, we learn from our learners as much as they learn from us.
Do you have to be in academia?
No,
Okay.
we've had technologists, people from hospitals. We've had doctors. One of the last cohorts, we had a breast surgeon from somewhere in the world. Loads of technologists, and I think for them, it's understanding what the educators need. And the technologists that I've helped through the program said they go back to their educators and say, "I need a design. I need some measurable learning outcomes," and they become the advisors and the guides. So it's open and inclusive for everyone.
So it's put them at the table. So what it does is that it puts everybody with a group knowledge so that you can, have that shared mental model as you go through with your program. So I want to thank everyone for sitting with us today and letting everyone know about the ISEP program. Thank you very much.